Today for the reading, let's read from Unshakable Spirit. I was very moved by the topic we had last night in the Right View Lab about how when we practice kindness or benevolence to someone who might not like us or hold a grudge against us secretly or whatever, sometimes um, for them, instead of becoming grateful, they might have resentment, which is a very interesting psychology. So, yeah, I think we can spend hours contemplating and meditating on it, what's going on. And then, if we receive kindness from someone that we are not very fond of, if we are not aware of this, if we don't move towards the mirror of Dharma, unknowingly, who knows how many unwholesome seeds of karma we are planting by resenting our benefactor or someone who is kind to us. Just because of our blind passions, we hold some grudge against them. Okay, it's very profound, I think. Yeah, maybe this can be a book that is not being written yet. Anyway, it's from Unshakable Spirit, story number 21. Never remember a kindness done or forget a kindness received. William Tell, a playwright Friedrich Schiller's masterpiece, contains the following scene. In a mountain recess, Tell saves the life of his enemy, the bailiff, then goes home and brags to his wife. From now on, the bailiff's attitude will surely change because of the debt he incurred today. You're deceiving yourself, warns his wife. You will stick in his craw and he will resent you more than ever. It often happens that while one person keeps track of kindnesses he has done, looking forward to a great return, the recipient of that same kindness struggles under the burden of debt and feels a mounting antipathy. Debtors are as likely as not to resent the very people who helped them. This, of course, does not mean that there is no need for acts of kindness. The law of the universe is that you reap only what you sow. Good actions yield good results. Bad actions bring bad results, and one's own actions determine one's fate. Good results cannot come about if good seeds are not planted. But attitude is crucial. In the Japanese folk tale, The Tongue-Cut Sparrow, an old man had a pet sparrow he was very fond of. One day when the old man was out, the sparrow ate up all his wife's starch. The old woman became so angry that she took out her scissors and snipped off the sparrow's tongue, rendering it mute. The poor sparrow flew off in tears. When the old man came home and heard what had happened, he was appalled at his wife's cruelty and set off to find his little friend. After a long, hard search, he finally found the sparrow and stayed the afternoon, happy to be together again. When it came time for him to go home, the sparrow offered him his choice of two wicker baskets, one large and one small. Without hesitation, the old man picked the smaller one because it was lighter and easier to carry. When he got home, it turned out to be full of gold and jewels. Seeing this, the old woman promptly set off to claim her own reward for all she'd done to look after that sparrow. Her heart was fixed on treasure, so when she was offered the same choice as her husband, she picked the larger basket, which turned out to be full of goblins and monsters. The old man was content simply to be reunited with the pet sparrow he had searched for high and low. He asked nothing more. The old woman, on the other hand, thought to herself, that sparrow owes me because I took care of it. Her motive was not to comfort the sparrow, let alone to make amends for what she had done, but to acquire treasure. The goblins and monsters that set upon her in the end were the reflection of her own impure heart. How pleasant it would be if people did all they could for one another without seeking anything in return. One should never remember a kindness done and never forget a kindness received. Yeah, Yuichi was talking about how it's so important to purify our karma by making the effort not to forget a kindness received. Because, yeah, the other story we read about, if our life is saved by a physician in a time when, there was no healthcare system, people would just pay money to the physician for his or her services. So the patient initially might be so full of gratitude because, it's like your life is given back to you again. The patient was so grateful. In the story, he was saying, I would give like half of all my possessions to the doctor. But his assistants were like, well, that's maybe too much. You need to reconsider. Maybe you would have healed anyway with the passage of time. Who is to say it was the physician who cured you, treated your problem? Or so as time passed, after a few days, he would be like, oh, all these thoughts come. And this physician, this patient was such a wise one. So the title of the story was, Take Him the Money Now. Show appreciation now. So this is one way as we move towards the mirror of Dharma, um, to obtain happiness that never abandons us. Once we settle our goal in life, ultimate goal, once we gain clarity about why we live life, if we have to die, what is the purpose of it all? What's the point? As we listen to the Dharma and we realize what makes us truly feel grateful for life and everything is if we can have a happiness that is never ending, that doesn't leave us like everything else. So once that gets settled, so and we move towards that happiness, the mirror of Dharma, then um, the, the act of going in alignment with the law of cause and effect, refraining from bad deeds, we begin to see our own mind is so fickle and our sense of gratitude fades away as time passes, like everything else fades away. So we try to show appreciation immediately. Yeah, I thought it was a very powerful lesson. And so in Japan, it's a saying to show gratitude 3 times. So once is when we receive it in that moment. Another one is as time passes, we go home and we reflect on it. So you allow that to warm our heart. So we can text the person or call them up or send a thank you card. Thank you so much for this. And then next time we see them, so we are making the effort not to forget the kindness we have received, and therefore we are actively minimizing the unwholesome karma we create through our forgetfulness. Yeah. Okay, very nice. Good job, everyone. Today is Tuesday. We have Hattori Sensei's class, 7 p.m. Pacific in the evening, and have a beautiful Tuesday. Bye.